welcome back to my channel. I'm really glad to see you guys here, and if you're new, welcome, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe below. And I just wanted to do one last video for 2017, and since the thing that I am most obsessed with is eyeshadow palettes, I decided that I wanted to do my favorite eyeshadow palettes of 2017. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so just right off the bat, a little disclaimer. You might notice my face is really red. I'm not wearing any foundation today or any face products other than moisturizer because I am having some skin issues and I don't want to upset my skin anymore. So in the next few videos, you're probably going to notice that I'm not wearing any face makeup. And I just do that because I do have sensitive skin, and every so often I just need to give my skin a break. So the first palette I want to show you guys, and these are in no particular order, obviously my favorite palettes of 2017, there's 8 of them, is the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes palette, and you know how I love my mattes. So this palette came out and I was so excited because I am obsessed with these warm tone reddish peachy shades, and these are my favorite kind of shades to work with, as well as like orangey shades. And when I saw it, I knew right away I was going to be using this like crazy. And I would say that Peach Cobbler and Peach Punch are shades, and Fresh Picked. Shades that I use in every single look that I do with this palette. I absolutely love this palette, and I've got some really decent dips in this palette. So it just tells you, yeah, I use this a lot. So the next one I actually got from a subscription box, and I've talked about this a few times on my channel. This is the Studio Makeup On The Go warm tone palette neutrals palette. Can I say that? Warm tone neutrals palette. And this palette has been a ride or die ever since I got it in BoxyCharm, and it's definitely, again, one of my favorites of 2017. I have hit pan in this shade. I am close to hitting pan in this shade and this shade. And I absolutely love this palette, as you can see. The next palette is quite a controversial palette, well, it was a controversial palette when it first came out, but I really enjoyed it. And this is the Subculture by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have really enjoyed this palette. I have hit pan on 3 shades, and as many of you know, it's not that hard to do. So it's not that great of a feat. They are very soft eyeshadows. I am the type of person who usually goes in with a heavy hand, but after I watched Stephanie Nicole's video, I changed it up and I now use them very lightly. They're very highly pigmented eyeshadows, and a dab will do ya. That's how I'll put it. A dab will do ya. And I've fallen in love with this palette. I love this palette. I would have to say my favorite shades in this palette are New Wave and Roxy. That Roxy, I just love a nice pink peach eye look, and if you look on my Instagram, you'll see I do them all the time. I do a daily makeup look on my Instagram, and I use this Roxy all the time. I absolutely love the way it comes out with my skin tone on my eye, and I love experimenting with it and doing different looks with it. So the next one is also by Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is the Prism palette. As far as I know, there wasn't any controversy with this palette. This palette was pressed harder than the Subculture palette, but it is still a very soft shadow and highly pigmented formula. So this is the palette here, and I love using these two palettes together as well. And I would have to say in this palette, my favorite shades are Saturn and Eden. And I probably use those the most. And then one that I actually thought that I probably wouldn't use that often, that I have actually like grown to love even more than I ever thought I would, basically, is this shade, which is Throne. And it's like a green toned, glittery, very difficult to explain shadow, satiny glitter shadow. And I absolutely love how this look turned out when I did a smoky eye with it. I did a really dark smoky eye, and it just turned out great. I don't usually go with dark looks, but I just really loved how it turned out. And if you head on over to my Instagram, you'll see that look on there as well. The next one I feel like it was more of a flop when they first came out, and I was so excited for them to come out, and I'm glad that they did come out and I got to get my hands on it. But I feel like there wasn't much hype for them, and they seemed like they weren't talked about all that much. Like right when it came out, it was talked about, but then it was like radio silence type of thing. But I personally fell in love with this palette, and that is the Basquiat limited edition Basquiat collection by Urban Decay. And this is the colorful palette. I also have the nude shade palette, but I didn't put that in because, I mean, you can get like nudes anywhere, and I've noticed I don't really reach for that palette that often. So I'm like, I don't feel like that was one of my favorites. But this has definitely been one of my favorites. I just love how vibrant these colors are. And if you look on my Instagram at my different makeup looks that I do daily, you will see that I use these shades quite often. I have some pretty deep dips in these 3 shades, and I love this palette. And unfortunately, it's no longer available, so sorry about that part. It was limited edition. The next palette that I have is the Jaclyn Hill palette with Morphe, and this palette has also been one of my favorites, but I do have a few gripes about it. And like literally, I think this is an almost perfect palette. The only thing that I did not like is that here she gave us 2 shimmers instead of one that was matte for an eyeshadow base. And what I actually personally did was I popped out the second shimmer that I felt like I wouldn't use as often, and I put in Peaches and Cream. My goodness, I can't talk. I put in Peaches and Cream by Makeup Geek, and now I feel like it's a perfect palette. It has all of your neutrals. It's got the red tones. It's got some pops of colors. It's got the dark shade so that you can turn it into a nice dark smoky eye for a night out or whatever. I just feel like this is the perfect palette now, and it has everything I could possibly ask for now that I added that Peaches and Cream. So that's a thought also, if any of you have thought of that, like, you know. And I found this to be the best eyeshadow palette to travel with because it literally has everything. I would say this is probably my #1 favorite of 2017, and I haven't had it that long, so you can't really tell it's my favorite. There aren't very many dips in there, but ever since I have gotten it, I have been obsessed with it. And especially for traveling here in the holiday season, I have been using it a ton. So I have 2 more palettes left. The second to last one is the Kat Von D palette, and I know for a lot of people this was a flop. They didn't get it. I actually challenged myself to use it and use every single shade, and I really felt challenged as a makeup enthusiast and as a person who was trying to figure out looks every day, because it's not like your typical palette. The shades are not grouped together in a way that makes it easy and user-friendly. But I have found that this is also one of my favorite palettes. I've got so much to choose from. I do go to it when I want to do more of an avant-garde type of look, when I want to be more adventurous, when I don't know, I'm itching for a challenge type of thing. So today I am actually wearing the Kat Von D palette on my eyes. I'm using the Amen, Martyr, and Devil, and Martyr and Devil are my favorite shades from this palette. So, yeah, I know a lot of people, this palette was not for them, and that's cool, but this was one of my favorite palettes of the year, and I believe it is still available on Sephora.com and KatVonD.com, so if you want to get it, pick it up. So the last palette, I would have to say, I have to like give like a disclaimer with it, I feel like, because it's not necessarily that it was like this amazing formula that I wanted to use all the time and stuff. It was just that like it was very nostalgic and like brought back memories and was just something that was like really awesome to be able to get. So it is the Storybook Cosmetics Burn Book, and I just feel like these, don't get me wrong, these eyeshadows are great. They're an amazing formula. I really love them. They do have dimethicone in them, so my eyes tend to water with them pretty badly. I have sensitive eyes. If you don't worry about it. but I don't feel like it's anything like extra special over the top, except for the fact that it is limited edition. Except for the fact that it is the limited edition Mean Girls palette, and it just brought back all sorts of memories. Like these eyeshadows, their names are awesome. Like it just seriously brings back like my middle school and early high school days. Like the names are Is Butter a Carb, Gruel, Glen Coco, So Fetch, Wednesday, She Doesn't Even Go Here, The Plastics, Regina George, Mouse, duh, You Can't Sit With Us, Cool Mom, and October 3rd. And it is designed like the burn book in the movie, and I just feel like this was so nostalgic. Like the packaging and the product are amazing. Like the packaging is amazing, the product is great, and together it does get onto the list as one of the best of 2017 for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. If you have any other questions, let me know down below, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. I hope you all had a wonderful year, and I wish you a happy new year going into the next, and I can't wait to see you guys next year. Bye! Mwah!